Hey, welcome all of you 54,000 hair loss fighters. In this video, I'm gonna be sharing with you a reaction to this video of Simon Nackborn. This video got over 500,000 views in only several months. And this means that many people like you think that his results must be special or at least interesting to look at. And I'm not gonna argue. He was like a diffusely thinning Norwood 5 who got only 3,500 grafts transplanted with the FUE and achieved a pretty full result. It looks full, doesn't it? But was it entirely natural? And as always, before we start, shout out to our sponsor GoFiber. These are hair building fibers you can use to mask any thinning or patchy areas on your scalp to make your hair look thicker and better. So make sure you check out the link in the video description below where you can visit GoFiber, get a free sample of your choice and try them out. See if you like them. So based on this before photo, we can classify Simon as a diffusely thinning Norwood 5 with preserved hair on the mid scalp and also on the crown. Some existing hair, but already on the go, miniaturizing more and more. He got probably the most grafts or hair follicles transplanted on the front. I suppose around 2,700 to 2,800 on the front and maybe 700-ish on the crown area. He paid about 6,500 USD, which is a fair price for Sweden. It was not done in Turkey. However, the clinic is Turkish based. More about the clinic later in the video. Its name is Acacia Medical in Sweden. Again, at the end of the video, I'm gonna share with you more about whether it's a good clinic or not, whether I would consider it if I would be living somewhere in Sweden, Norway, Finland, and so on. Now, let's come to the actual evaluation of his results. So, hairline design looks more or less okay. 8.5 to 9 points out of 10. It's actually pretty suitable, okay? He didn't go too low. It's actually making his face quite symmetrical. The rule of third is almost perfectly being respected. Forehead has been lowered appropriately. That makes his face look way more younger and again more symmetrical. He didn't try to push the temples forward or anything there. I'm glad he didn't do it, and that's why I would say hairline design very suitable. As far as the hairline itself, if we look at it close up, we'll notice some doubles in the hairline. That's why I would say 7 out of 10 for the hairline naturalness itself. And the hairline naturalness is usually being established by two main factors. Number one, correct angles during the placement of the follicles inside of the recipient sites done on the hairline. And the second factor is the follicular unit type. Follicular units or grafts producing softest single hairs should be always placed in the very front of the hairline at the relatively high densities, and the doubles, triples or quadruple follicular units producing 2, 3, 4 and more hairs should be placed way behind to add support and density. The density is also great. I would say 9 out of 10. It's looking very full, and here by the 4-month mark we can also see a pretty quick hair regrowth, which is quite unusual, and most guys struggle with such even growth between the month number 4, 5 or 6, and he already got it by the month number 4. So don't expect to get such hair regrowth by the 4-month mark. Normally guys don't get it as quickly. The transplanted hair regrowth overall per the amount of grafts transplanted, which was 3,500, is great. I would say 10 out of 10. If we look at the hair regrowth per 3,500 grafts, it's really superb. He's also not on medication. He mentioned it in this video.
No, I am not, and I haven't been. It's not something I've been told to be on. I know there are some side effects, but it's not something I'm scared of, so I might get on those medications later. I'll just do some research first and then decide.
I would advise it, at least if he doesn't want to take like 1 milligram of finasteride. I would advise to microdose it. I don't think 1 milligram per day is necessary, and I did even switch recently to 0.5 milligram every other day as an alternative for very localized application, like for a small portion of the mid scalp or a portion of the crown. There's a solid data out there suggesting to use 0.025% topical finasteride solution once a day, giving you a very good DHT suppression in the scalp while minimizing the DHT suppression in the plasma. So I think this is still going to be way more beneficial than a No Finasteride at all. Now, as far as his donor area, I haven't found any good quality pictures or videos before how his donor actually looked like, but I would assume it was average at least, maybe slightly above average. As far as over harvesting, I don't see any over harvesting. Obviously, if he shaved or kind of went with that fade on the donor here, we notice these white holes. We notice how the extraction have been kind of executed, and this is normal with each FUE. Even with the best clinics, you will notice these dots. However, the smaller the punch the clinic uses, the smaller these dots will look. So ideally, you want to go with the doctor who is using the smallest possible punch, but having the least possible damage rate or transaction rate as well when he tries to kind of isolate and extract these follicles. So this is usually the challenge, not to damage a lot of these grafts during extraction, but also use relatively small punch so the holes or scars after the FUE extraction will not be excessively large. And now let's take a look at the clinic where he had his hair transplant procedure done. It was Acacia Medical in Sweden. They seem to have two teams. One team is working in Sweden and it's costing more. They have another team in Turkey which seems to be cheaper, including the flights and the hotel. Considering the size of this team and only one doctor in the team, his name is Mohammed Abbas. He's also ISHRS member. I double checked it. He's still the member of ISHRS. This is International Society of Hair Restoration Surgery, credible hair transplant organization. The goal of this organization is pretty much create a society of credible and ethical hair transplant doctors who know what they're doing, create natural hairlines, not over harvest, and so on and so on. They organize regular meetings and schoolings and different workshops where they teach new up and coming doctors who want to be members of ISHRS how to do hair transplants properly. They seem to be doing one patient per day as well, considering the size of this team, which is relatively small. Again, and only one doctor. I don't imagine how they could be doing two patients or more per day, but you always need to double check if you consider them. Make sure you ask them all the time. The results on the website look decent, okay? No huge red flags, but also not super impressive, okay? That's how I would conclude it, but again, no bad red flags I was able to find. Now, if we also take a look at another YouTuber, Pascal, who have done a surgery with them, this is his probably final result. We see that the hairline is not very natural. The shape is not that good like with Simon, and the naturalness is less compared to the Simons. And although this is a kind of a big red flag to see so many doubles and maybe even triple densely packed in the hairline as we can see here, this result is older. This result is already like 3 years old, so they're likely improved their quality and naturalness of the hairline over the last 3 years as we can see in Simon's case. But here are some aspects I wouldn't trust this clinic on 100%. Number one, temporal hair restoration. Number two, 100% naturally restored hairline out of singles. One could also claim that since Simon was like a famous YouTube guitar teacher, his channel has like 30,000 subscribers, and also his surgery was filmed actually as a documentary by a Swedish team from a Swedish television. One could claim that there was an incentive, motivation from the whole team and doctor to create a great result and get the patient the best possible care and all that. It could be true for sure. I can imagine that if a celebrity comes to this clinic, somebody who has a channel with thousands of subscribers, probably the result and the handling of this patient will be different, okay? Always keep that in mind as well. I wouldn't be surprised if this was the case, okay? Because this leverage creates the pressure on the staff and doctors to create the best result possible. Now, as far as online reviews on Google, for example, there are only 12 reviews and most of them are positive. 2 reviews were somewhat negative, complaining about the PRP nurse not explaining exactly what she was doing during the PRP, but no negative hair transplant reviews as such. On the other review page, rico.se, which is a Swedish review website, I guess, there are only positive reviews, 5-star reviews, which are like 74 in total. Obviously, some of them will probably be fake, but I assume that some of them will be real for sure. There's no person who will be complaining about the result or complaining about the experience, complaining about how the person was handled by the staff, by the clinic, which is a good sign. Overall, I do consider his hair transplant a success. He didn't do any stupid mistakes. he can still build up onto this result with his next hair transplant in the future. So all is well overall with him. Now, if you go to the same clinic, will you get the same result? Based on watching this video, you will probably get a better perspective of what are the areas where you need to dig in a little bit further if you want to go to this clinic and aim for the similar result that Simon got. And thank you so much for watching. If you wish to speak to me one-on-one, you can do so on mattdominance.com/mentoring. There is the link in the video description where I can assist you one-on-one as a previous hair transplant patient with things like proper hair loss management, maintaining your hair after your hair transplant, assisting you with your research. What are the pitfalls and mistakes you need to avoid at all costs as somebody interested in this type of procedure? Things like overharvested donor zone, unnatural hairline design, or low naturalness in the hairline itself. You not just want to have good density in the hairline and, fuller head of hair, but also that undetectable look where people won't even be able to tell that it was a transplanted hairline. If you wish that, make sure you consult it with me on the link below. I will be happy to help you out and assist you in person. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'm gonna be here soon again with another video. Take care.